One of our findings is that because the effects of digital platforms are quite wide-ranging, we also need a more wider ecosystem of oversight for these platforms, ranging from legislation that is more top-down to self-regulation in the forms of codes of conduct, but also bottom-up mechanisms such as rights for users. And in the project we focus on 3 types of users: consumers, businesses and workers. And for some of these groups the oversight mechanisms are quite effective, for others less. But in general we have seen that there is still improvement in the way these different oversight mechanisms work together.
We found out that fairness is a key concept in regard to thinking of alternative to GAFAM. What does alternative mean? For us, we identified that it's not just an alternative in terms of scale. For example, Alibaba or Yandex maybe follow the same platform governance principles and business model of GAFAM, but what we wanted to explore were what we named counter-hegemonic alternatives that are social enterprises or cooperatives which place human and not profit extraction at the center. So we found out that social values are core, scale is key, and fairness and respect of user rather than profit extractions are the key values of alternative platforms.
The platform business model is based on data and network effects and being a central position in kind of mediating transactions between different user groups. But the thing is that some actors who participate on the platform, they can perceive these business practices as unfair. And this happens because the platform owner, it occupies a central position and it can control what's happening in this entire platform ecosystem. For example, it can set prices, or it can set kind of what is the decisions and how actors can participate on the platform. And some actors may perceive it as unfair. So in our institute, we developed a set of recommendations for platform companies on how can they ensure or prevent how these unfair platform practices do not occur.
Fairness could be better embedded into the design and the functioning of platforms. Now legislation prescribes what platforms cannot do. But adopting a notion of fairness by design, like some legal domains already are discussing, this would shift the focus from merely prohibiting unfair practices to also requiring platforms to act fairly and to find a fair balance between their own interests and the interests of users, and also not going beyond what is proportionate or needed for them to protect their own legitimate interests. And in the project we discuss how such a fairness test can work in practice.
So what we also found out in our study is that asking platform companies to ensure fair business practices is not necessarily enough. So to achieve a fair European platform economy, we need a systemic change, which means that we need other actors such as customers, we need investors, we need the regulators and the governments to create an environment that fosters and supports these fair platform companies.